Just
Nice.
healthier, and we did it again. We are, I think, in a good tempo. Like last time it was July, now it's January.
Yeah. I mean, comparing once and never again to once a year, that's a dramatic improvement.
Should we write a book about how to be efficient
Yeah.
and record a podcast once per half year? So to be
Uh,
sure that, yeah. Well, like, it's so many courses about how to be efficient. What about making a course how not to be efficient? Like how to
yeah.
decrease your numbers, how to slow down your results, how to be depressed, basically.
How to have a podcast that nobody follows. Uh,
Well, how to kill your hope.
no, but really, you asked me a good question before we went live.
Feel like I have to
So,
repeat it for
yes, please.
all of those millions of followers who are so interested in listening to this. Well, my question was that, imagine like 50 years ago, imagine the world, societies like this, developed countries, developing countries, what people were dreaming about. It was about something like they get an education and get a high paid job, which was like engineering or a scientist or something. It was such a big dream behind that, or becoming a politician and changing everything. Well, what about now? I mean,
Yeah.
what I want to say, like all my friends from academia are depressed. They don't like it. They're living for industry. And all my friends who are doing anything with politics, they're one of the most depressed people because they lost
Really?
hope. They're not depressed, but there is nothing magical around politics. It's so either corrupted or no hope, or it's way too many old people around that. Um, and well, engineering is cool, and I know a few engineers, but I cannot say that this is the biggest dream. And for sure, nobody dreams to become a politician from all the people I met. What people
Okay.
are dreaming about now? What do you
I mean,
think?
is it your thing? Have you been in politics, or
No,
why are you surrounded by depressed politicians?
no, I did. I'm not. I just know a few people. One is working there. Another one's. A few of them they work there, but stopped doing that.
Hmm.
And for that reason, like I was thinking, like what people are dreaming about. Like what do you think? Like what do you? Not you, but people around. Like this energy around. We have this unconscious
Yeah.
narratives we have that, for example, like everyone wants to have like handsome wife, or this beautiful family with a dog and car, like this pictures are circulating between us. So what about happy successful person now? Which kind of picture is that?
I think it depends on which generation you ask, because we the millennials are still pretty much the same with the I want to have impact, man. I want to change the world. I want to have a really cool job where I have flexibility and I can relax and my team is like a family and all of these cliches. But I don't know if Gen Z is also going to have this or if they're going to be completely different. I feel like the boomers are still giving us shit for not wanting a traditional normal job. And we're just like this very strong transition period between three mentalities. I mean, by the time Gen Z grows up, there might be jobs inside the metaverse or something. I don't know. And in terms of status, like you said, having the picket fence life, big car and kids, I think that's still the case. Except, no, I mean, our generation is also moving more towards sustainability, and I feel like a lot of people are wanting to do community living as well. So I feel like you said,
Like a German Ecuador.
what? What do you
That's
mean,
all. Like,
Ecuador?
like, haven't you heard that there are Ecuador? Dorf is a village in German that exists in Germany, where like
No.
this is like communistic love dreams are. I have a primitive perception of how it works there, but I could guess this community life. Actually, that's something I don't see at all. Like what I see around is these lonely people, masturbating on their laptops. That's all going on. This is not even having a dog or cat. That's even more solid
Uh-huh.
cases. But it's cute that you do see that people are
Yeah.
getting
Uh,
together and
it also depends a lot on what you look for. Yeah, what your network is or your filter bubble, what you get shown on the internet. But I'm definitely one of those hippies who has a lot of contact with other young people trying to change the world and trying to connect more and be more emotionally mature. Yeah, and live in a more conscious way. I think that's the main thing that connects all of this, because if you're conscious, then you will automatically be more sustainable and respectful and less consumerist and wanting to help others.
naive as fuck, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
What's wrong with your generation that you're still letting yourself be naive at your age?
I don't think it's entirely just naivete. I think we know that it's naive to dream of changing the world, but what's the alternative? We don't want to just give up. You know? And some people don't care and they just go their individualistic path and want to earn a lot of money in a big company. But for the people who care, it's like you can either become depressed because you realize how hard it is, or you can just keep dreaming and trying. Or do you see another option?
Mm, mm, or somebody with the that's so cute.
Sorry?
Hey Vic, are you posting this on Facebook directly? Oh, what's going on?
Yeah.
Oh no, somebody.
Oh, should I take that off?
No, but I don't care.
Okay.
Like I care.
That's what I thought.
It's cute that somebody even wrote some. No, well, coming back to this changing the world thing, it was more about that. It's something about the age when you believe in this big idea being realistic, but then you try, and I think the strongest are staying on that path. Most of them are turning to this capitalistic. I'm thinking about all myself and my family thing, which is not bad actually. Um,
Yeah, I mean, that's also a really big philosophical question is, do I want to just have a happy, comfortable life for myself? Depends how you define like the meaning of life.
yeah, especially when it's so complicated with changing anything.
Yeah. Do
Yeah,
I
we're
like
definitely exploding with energy.
Yeah, yeah, also for the audience today well, I'm in a pretty medium state and Sveta's low energy, I would say.
You see?
But we wanted to do this anyway.
Yeah, because we're so efficient doing this once in half a year.
Yeah. So
What?
no, I was gonna say there's like this really nice approach that I once tweeted about, where if you aim for something that is impossible, but it's a really, really high goal, then for some people that's really frustrating, but for others that's the greatest source of motivation. Because if you aim for something that you can achieve, then you get there and you're like, okay, done. And now what? So, I mean, do you even set goals for yourself in general? Because not everyone does. Do you have like some sort of dream or vision?
It was more about this unconscious narrative within the society about what is something that the whole our society appreciate altogether. What you're saying me is that the young people still didn't quit the idea that we can change the world. What I'm asking you about is about what our society still finds cool.
Ah, got you.
The whole society altogether. Like what is
Yeah.
this picture of success?
Yeah. Okay. That's how I came
Like
with
what
this.
even grandparents wish for their kids, or what do they see the future would be the right thing to do, blah blah blah. And I meant more that this ego narcissistic uh, things around building, like, I don't know, Instagram Instagram thing, influencer job, or crypto, blah blah blah, or
Yeah,
something like that will be desirable. I would guess so. That
yeah.
money
Right.
definitely
Sorry, I got
gives you
it.
the dramatic difference in your quality of life, and then you kind of on this circulating group of society which can afford itself to travel. Because you know what, recently I was traveling to El Salvador, which is one of the most, let's say, economically challenged country in the world and in Latin America
Mm,
as well. And what I saw there is that it's not a big deal for rich people.
hmm.
I mean, you know what I mean. It still can be
Yeah,
criminals
I
around
get.
the streets and so on, but if you have money, it doesn't really. I mean,
Yeah, I know this from Mexico.
Mexico is more safe.
Okay. Yeah, but I mean, there's still a huge difference. You can live like a king in Mexico, and it feels like it's Europe, or you can be struggling and in great danger and
Yes,
starving.
what everyone wants to be this cross that threshold and be able to afford. It doesn't even matter where you live, whether it's Africa, Asia, whatever the
Hmm.
country you are, but basically to be there and
Yeah,
not to change the world. I
yeah.
don't think so.
Okay. Yeah. Well, what I meant is, I think for my generation, that's still the coolest thing to do. To be successful is if you're not only having money and having a nice life, but also having some sort of impact towards changing the world.
Where is this whole impact is coming from?
Mm.
Which kind of hole you're trying to fill with this illusion? No, but really, what I can see is that you don't have a family to care about, and that's why you're looking for some big impact within the society.
You mean the whole generation, or just me?
I mean, the whole generation.
Yeah, maybe that's true. Hmm.
Because I think what gives you meaning in life is taking care of your close ones. It's a lot of work and it's a lot of meaning and it's a lot of appreciation and the real, the result you did and the thing you did, and you see like the happiness within your family members and so on. But as long as we are this being lonely successful person who doesn't need bad energy people, toxic people around you, it's just you and your successful efficient life.
And where did you get your um, value from, that you want to, that it's so important to you to care about your loved ones?
Well, at some point you lose some of your loved ones, and then you understand that it was such a huge big deal.
Losing them. Hmm.
It's like you losing half of your health. I asked one my mom. My mom was sick with diabetes for like 30 years, and I asked her like, how is that? And she said, after you going through this, you appreciate so much the few health, like what left for to you, that you're really caring about it. And this is kind of something I think we face as well. That
Hmm.
when we have them, we think that yeah, we can complain even about that state. But when we lose some of your close relatives, then you understand that now you know how the hell feels like.
Yeah,
And then you're like,
totally.
well, now I got it. Now I got it that there is something I should do, and now there is something I do really care about, and that's not about myself, but about my close ones because they're not gonna live here forever. So I want to do my
Hmm.
best that they're gonna stay around.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's changed a lot.
Do you feel like we can make our loved ones keep by being a certain way, or by changing? Sorry, make them stay. I mean, not in terms of death, just leaving, that kind of loss.
I didn't find the balance. I think the person has to want to live as well, even if you
Mm.
love them, they're not gonna keep them here. But I think I want to make them understand that I do like they mean a lot to me. I want them to know that
Hmm.
there is something I'm gonna work in.
How do you show someone that they mean a lot to you?
Oh, like the easiest way to spend money on them.
Wow, okay.
I mean, everyone is saying that this is psychologically bad, blah blah blah, but that's so simple and that's
Are
so
you
joyful.
are you familiar with the 5 love languages?
Yeah, yeah, I'm,
Really cool quiz. Well, that one would be just gift giving, I think. But there's
yeah,
another 4.
yeah. But I think quality time is also a thing,
Yeah,
and
that's another one.
I like when somebody's touching me and when I'm hugging somebody as well. That's, I mean, I told my husband I'm gonna divorce him once he stopped hugging me. That will be the end for me.
Yeah.
So we're trying to hug every day, at least for 20 minutes, you know.
Yeah.
But I don't
Just
think that.
Scandinavian things.
Yeah,
Put it in the
exactly.
calendar.
I think it's a big deal for him anyway. But I do really think that you feel difference if nobody hugs you, and you feel
Definitely.
more warm if somebody hugs you every day. I do really think that's like if I would
Yeah.
be ahead of some diagnosis place and I could make an survey, your heart blood pressure will be lower, you will feel better, your immune system gonna be better just because somebody hugs you 20 minutes a day. You know, it's typical for
Yeah.
everything in life. If you're gonna
Yeah.
make a plank for 30 seconds every day, everything gonna be better in your life.
We might actually start seeing these kind of relationships when people start tracking their health data more. Well, it depends on whether it's public or just, it's just going to big tech. But that would be really interesting to see how people's vitals change with things like physical contact.
Oh well, but then we also will see how the life is going down to people who stay lonely all the time.
Mm.
That's not the nicest thing
Well,
to
in the UK, it's very uh, like there's a lot of awareness being raised publicly about how loneliness is one of the main things that are responsible for deaths in the elderly.
And
Like they're very aware that there's a correlation there. Like there's a lot of programs for trying to reduce loneliness because it's clear that that leads to disease or death. Found that really interesting as well.
don't tell that to my friends. Basically,
I mean, are they elderly? I think you don't have to worry yet.
not well, but you're always thinking about what if it's gonna continue like this? What if we'll never
Yeah.
change? Then what?
Then you need to do some gratitude journaling. There's always a millennial trick to solve everything.
Illusions. And like, you're a big girl, but you still believe in Instagram. The same like Instagram is like Santa Claus or something. The same like it's just the power of your mindset. You change your
Yeah.
mindset, and life changes.
We also I started having this running joke with friends, and every time we're going to explain something, it's like, okay, well, step 1, we have to work on your mindset first.
Yeah, yeah.
And then step 2, okay, you need some scissors, and this is how you cut the paper. Yeah, it's become a big cliche, but it's also really true. I mean, all of these things are founded, and if people just did them, then we wouldn't have to keep saying it until everyone's sick of it. Like if in school they taught us to meditate, instantly better world, I think.
Yeah, but there are critics of meditation, like my favorite guy, Slavoj Žižek.
I don't know that.
Yeah, he was saying that it's all Eastern vibes. I mean, I'm also a big fan of meditation,
Yeah.
and so on. But I still also try to be objective in the way that one of the hugest difference. Maybe it's not correct. I'm not taking the credits for the whole this that I understood, got it right. But his point was that about uh,
Are you
the
being
Western.
distracted by the comments?
Yeah, the thing is like the Western thing was about changing reality, is about going to life and like I don't know, bringing something to that. And the Eastern was more about going deep inside yourself and being like not about not caring. Yeah, more or less not caring. Like meditation let you just be bigger than your thoughts and so on. And one of the biggest promoter of Eastern religions was this Alan Watts books and
Oh, I love
lectures
him.
and blah blah blah. He's really beautiful. And Slavoj Žižek's complaint was about that it was going on so much shit that people just decided to not care anymore because it was not. It's just how I remember his words and how I interpret them.
Hmm.
But yeah, I think in one of my favorite German podcasts they discussed it as well. They said that uh, This is the crisis for Western philosophy, that losing this Western way of spirituality.
Mm.
And
I
this
mean,
is a big
what
peak
what
for
is
Eastern one.
what is Western spirituality actually?
Yeah, when it's about Protestant or Catholic religion, but not just a religion way, but spiritual way, I guess, when it's about really like forgiveness, kindness, and those kind of things. But
But
like
I
this
can't think of
foundation,
I can't think of anything we have that is not religious that isn't also in Eastern. No?
something that is not religious, but is also in Eastern.
I mean, everything that we call spirituality that is outside of religion basically comes from the East, I think.
You think so?
Hmm. I mean,
Well,
I'm not
maybe.
a scholar, but
Well, this is the conversation between two people who pretend to know.
exactly. No, not pretending, just what's it called? Extrapolating from what we do know.
Well, I mean, of course, not like in the going the Asian history. I'm just talking about like this recent, 200-300 years ago, when yeah, well, it's pretty hard to understand what they believed in anyway, these people in West or East, and where is the right way? Maybe they're gonna this religion of New Age. It's exactly as you said about meditation and energy and some new way of seeing all of those kind of things.
Yeah, I mean, we've already had that in the, what's it, 60s, 70s? Maybe it's coming back. But my hope is that we'll find some sort of way to simultaneously have everything that there is in humanity and that everyone will just, you know, see the whole buffet and respect it and take whatever they need.
You think so?
I think that would be the best case scenario, but I don't know if we'll ever get there. Maybe we'll go back to crusading in a few decades.
One of the thing in last this podcast, Precht said that modern people will reject the right to vote over the ability to use their phone. So the phone is already more important than your right to
Wow.
vote. And I was like, well, I'm from Russia. I will take my phone anyway because I don't even have that much right to vote. But,
Yeah.
but like in Europe, where it means something at least. So, but
Hmm.
people probably will still choose this.
Crazy. That's a
And
really good thought.
yeah, they have a lot of good, really cool
That's
thoughts. Maybe next time we'll
not.
just write down what I liked, and then we can just discuss things I liked from the.
Yeah. Let's do that. I'm also listening to podcasts now and then. I should make notes. Yeah, but not just the right to vote. We're basically on the daily. We are choosing technology over our rights. Like, no one reads the terms and conditions of Google and Facebook and shit. We're just like, yeah, okay, whatever. I need the service. That's actually really dangerous. And yeah, I mean, I do that too. I'm guilty, but I think one day it will blow up in our faces. Yeah.
Yeah, and we so fast gave up our data as well. You
Yeah.
talk about medical records, but what
Yeah.
about the rest of your life?
Hmm.
What is the sick part in Sweden that you can literally Google the person and get the address? Like just Google and you get the
Really?
address, and it's just so sick. And it's not. It's like it's still baffling with my mind. Like how that fucking possible? How these people still didn't do something with that? It feels like it's get leaked from the some agency. I don't know how exactly it works. That it's so fastly getting into Google, and yet it gives your age, it gives who you live with, it gives the size of your flat,
Wow.
and in some advanced cases, it can be connected to your LinkedIn profile as well.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's literally like this
Yeah.
dystopian world
Yeah.
when there is nothing private left in your life. I mean, I already think that it's already just late to delete your bad pictures from Instagram or to clean up your everything messages, shitty messages you have sent because is already saved. It's not possible to get rid of. So
Yeah,
just
I mean, I was
accept
thinking
the
about I was thinking about this the other day because we played one of those drinking games with a sexual theme where you ask each other questions and stuff. And it was the topic of nudes on your phone, and I just had the thought, if big tech wanted to, they could just pull out anyone's sex tapes and nudes and whatever they have, and use it against them, because there's also someone who's a like digital trainer in education told me, have you ever really read Google's education terms and conditions? It says that everything that any student or teacher creates on their platform belongs to Google. And this might be the same for Google Drive and Google Photos. So, if, let's say, as an example, like one of us becomes famous one day, and then Google wants to take us down, and they'll be like, let's look up the archive for Sveta or Johar, and what did they have in their camera roll, and then leak that and use it against you. There's nothing legally that you can do to stop them.
Or actually, which kind of sicknesses have you Googled, and which one did you have, basically?
Yeah.
Your partner had, and you Googled that, or any family member had. Like, what is private in there? What does it even mean? No,
Yeah.
I don't believe that. I mean, I agree with you that it's just late. You just have to already morally accept that all the shit you had on the internet can be used against you, and just try to morally prepare yourself in case you're gonna be in that situation, that they're gonna show up, and just expect that people will understand, because they're all the same fragile as you are, basically.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think anyone has some clean history of not doing any shit.
Yeah, and that's also something where I wish we could just all accept our humanity a bit more, but that's like such
No,
an privileged,
that's possible.
educated perspective. Yeah, I mean, when you just look at magazines who are looking to get a reaction out of people and selling sex and like bad news and violence and stuff, I just think there's so many people who read this and who are just so far off from the level of like respect and awareness and communication that I know from people around me, that I try to spread into the world.
No, people are really big. I can't imagine how much.
Yeah.
Just they can't allow themselves to be free, so they will never let you be that level of free. Like they cannot let you have that level of freedom when they themselves cannot afford that. So in that case, it's gonna be always this place of jealousy, place of judgment, place of like critics and cynical jokes, and it's
an
something.
Image.
Yeah.
And it's all just super childish. Also when I look at like shows about things like Suits, or any show where basically you see leaders playing strategy games against each other, and there's so much about reputation and how they can ruin the way that the masses see the other person. And it's just all like literally in primary school when people would be like, Sveta smells, and then they turn people against you for the stupidest reasons. Where if we were all totally transparent, you could just be like, oh, they told you about
Just
this
a
flaw of
second.
mine?
Just a second. Yeah,
Reality is calling. Oh, nice. You should have left it on. We don't understand anyway.
Yeah, exactly. I should have done that.
Like when people try to use my flaws against me, I'm like, yeah, those are my flaws, so what? But everyone else still reacts badly, and then they start to.
They want to have an illusion to believe in. It's like, I guess it's more or less even with the partners we have. We want to see the white part, like bright part of their personality. It's something I heard recently, that when you love, you don't ask questions. So basically, it's something about it's accepting, and I think when it's about the big politicians who are doing something, we want to see them as a heroes. We're not ready to accept the bad parts. Like if you think back, all of them were assholes. All of them had some, okay, let's say the majority of them had some shit behind them, but before it was not just so easily public. And now we're in some new reality when like whatever the shit you do, everyone knows about it, and the society is not able to accept that shit. But can we really change politician like every 4 years, like so often, just be based on the some personal issues and so on.
Yeah, I mean, that's just gonna be another one that comes along that's just as bad. And this is what, like, a friend of mine just said in the comments. That's so true. It has to come from within, and it has to, I think, be established in everyone. It has to be the norm to do things right. And then when a bad leader comes along, the masses won't even allow it. They'll be like, "Who are you? Why are you our leader? No, get out." And there'll be plenty of good candidates, but that just seems so unrealistic.
But you know what is one of the most painful part in all of this, and that's something also come up last year, is about if you're a successful person, it's like just literally up to you to be a good person, because it's pretty hard to be a good professional who is like, delivers the result. But being a good person is just a choice. Like as a kid, you are learning that you have to be a good person, and that's how you're growing within the society or within some career, like reaching out your goals. But what I learned being 30, no, it's not connected. If you're going to be a professional, it's just about you developing your skills, network, blah blah blah. It's the whole thing you can work on and do to reach your goals. But to be a good person is totally different set of skills. And we talk about soft skills, but it's not the same to be a good person, to have a good developed soft skills.
That's a really interesting point, because I've had a lot of conversations about an experience with different levels of empathy. And some people who just don't have empathy, which is maybe not their fault, it's just the way their brain works. They actually have to learn how to be a good person, how to care about others, how not to hurt others. And some people just do it naturally. So we have a very mixed bag of people being born every sort of way. Some will be naturally good or naturally like neutral or not caring, and you have to get everyone to be good. That's a big challenge.
Yeah, but then the question is like people in position of power, which kind of people are reaching that positions? Are they good?
It's going to be the ones that are the most determined to get there, and normally that's in a sort of cutthroat style. It's like,
this is also what's discussed in this podcast, that why these billionaires need these billions. Why don't they just sit somewhere and just enjoy the life? That's the difference. If they would have they will sit with the $10 million and just don't do anything for them. But what is important for them is numbers. So that's why they're still trying to get more and more, because that's one of their goals,
Yeah, I think, there's different reasons, but it's much likelier that someone without good values or empathy will rise to the top, because they are kind of doing whatever it takes, and that often includes bad things.
Yeah, but generally to be so dry and cold and just thinking about the result, not thinking about that, well, you just can do something good, send money to kids with cancer, and just be happy what I did.
And that's why it's, for me, it's so exciting to think, how can we redesign systems? How can we create new incentives so that the game produces better people who are successful? If success, the way we've defined it, has led us to have the most successful people be awful people, then we need a whole new game where the winners are actually the best ones. It's also like in companies where you punish people for their mistakes, then people don't want to try anything new, and then the company stops innovating. So you have to create, and whatever you want to achieve, you have to create the right incentives that apply to everyone.
So what your KPI gonna be? How many good
exactly.
dates from last what?
Humanity KPIs.
Yeah, exactly. How many people did you greet on their birthdays? Did you hear what your colleague wants? Do you know her kid's name? It's pretty. One of the things that people are doing something authentically. Like when in my family, we have this toasting culture. You know that when you're drinking, you have to, and sitting around the table with your family or friends, before drinking, you have to give a toast, like to tell them to say the toast. So you have to come up with something big and beautiful and inspiring, so everyone will feel the moment, especially when they're a little bit drunk. It's when getting even more beautiful. But what I saw from last time, that people are having hard time to be honest, to speak from the heart.
Yes, that I was going to say that is one of the biggest points. Just healing yourself and being super honest, I think are
Maybe not super honest, just honest to your own self. Like, what does it super honest mean, Johar? Well, our brain is full of shit. You don't have to share everything you have on your mind.
Oh yeah, we talked about this last time. Yeah, I think there is a fine line, but we need to be at like. Oh, also, this was in Interstellar. They have these AI robots that help them, and the robots are set to 90% honesty, I think, or something, because they said humans are emotional beings. If we, yeah, it's most efficient if we don't do 100%. So you have to
Oh,
have some tact and yeah, certain boundaries. But other than that, I feel like the more honesty, the better. Because we also lie to ourselves so much. We convince ourselves of random crap.
I'm sorry, but I'm so obsessed to read what your friend wrote.
Yeah.
It's really cute.
Yeah, I think it's great.
You can read it loud, so I like.
Okay. In the Genesis, it says, the inclination of the heart of man is only bad all the time. And while I understand that there are good people left to their own devices, you don't have to teach children to be naughty. You have to teach them to be good. So our natural inclination is to be naughty, including our leaders.
Cool. Well, I don't need a geneticist to know that my body wants some shit.
Yeah, but I mean, it's also a lot of definition. What is bad? What is good? It's also not black and white. It's a spectrum. All these things to consider. But I also think it's very individual, and it depends on how you grew up the first few years.
Yeah, well, but the thing is, like, before, when you were sacrificing yourself to be a politician, for something big, for the greatness of your own country or something. But last time when I was reading about, this Prime Minister of Austria who stepped down from his position, blah, blah, blah. And what he's doing now, he's moving to Silicon Valley to get some tech job with 500,000 salary a year. And then I'm asking, this guy was spending the whole his life to change the life of Austrian people to the good. And somewhere in the middle of his life, he deciding, like, fuck it, I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna leave this soul and just get some capitalistic job in some of the most capitalistic country on planet Earth and just live my life with my
It,
family.
it takes a lot of strength and selflessness and resilience to always keep doing good.
But
It
don't you
is.
think we just grew out of this ideology to sacrifice for something one when we can just be selfish and do
I,
something for
I don't
ourselves?
think I ever will. I honestly think, like, if I knew with absolute certainty I'm not going to be able to contribute anymore, like, I don't know, I get a life prison sentence or
But
something.
you just told me that
Then
you have to be so idealistic and this goal has to be unreachable, and that's the difference between me and all of these average people who are not able to believe in something big and something so far away, and I'm a dreamer. But now you're saying that if I would feel that there is no meaning I'm causing and like a having, so then I will quit and go to Silicon Valley. It's with a good salary.
no, I was going to say, if I knew that I'm not going to be able to have an impact for the rest of my life with 100% certainty, then I would just die. Like,
Oh wow, that do you think it's gonna be up to you?
yeah, I mean, if you could see the future, and what's the point? But that's just me. And it doesn't mean it's easy. It's still difficult. Yeah, the rules have to be the same globally. It's super true. Oh, and
No, but
that's
but I'm not talking about one nation. I'm talking about the people.
yeah. I was just talking very abstractly in terms of systems. If you like this KPI analogy, if you want to create a system where it will lead to better people, then it has to be fair. It has to apply to everyone, because otherwise you get yeah, what's it called, classism and things like that. But yeah, who makes the rules exactly? That's the thing. And that's why I
Well,
really hope that smart aliens invade us one day and get us. And they're like, you species, why do you even have countries? Stop fighting. No, that's something John Lennon would say. I know why we have countries and cultures and we're all different, but yeah. I mean, it is really frustrating that we can't reach some sort of consensus.
Maybe it's just within our nature. We are not consensus animals, like creatures. We need somebody
Yeah,
to win. Competition is like something we crave and something would let us live.
but probably also, I mean, this is also going to sound really naive, but I think we all keep traumatizing and re-traumatizing ourselves and each other through generations, through cultures, interactions, experiences. Like, I would be really curious to see what would happen if we had one generation of people who are just born in really good conditions, raised really well with love, and they're constantly being supported by like coaching and therapy and stuff, and they have good habits. If we had this like ideal generation, then we could talk about human nature and see if it's really in our nature or if it's just we've been messing ourselves up for as far as we can remember. You can see it how like parents give so much crap up to their children and then they give crap onto their children. I don't think it's in our genes.
Yeah, but to go through challenges is also something which makes you you.
Mm-hmm.
Would you be the same strong if you would not face all the shit you went through your life?
I don't know. Maybe.
You think so?
Yeah, because maybe if you don't have pain that you have to fight through, then you also don't need strength. You just have energy,
Yeah,
unbound energy.
but like you cannot secure yourself from hard situations. You can lose everyone around you. Then you have to breathe and look for solutions and survive and make soup in the evenings to not.
This reminds me of The Giver. Have you watched that film?
Mm-mm.
They create this perfect world to stop war where everyone is calm and communicates nicely and they have this beautiful little civilization. But the price to pay is that no one really has emotions anymore and they don't even see in color. They've lost a lot of their sensation and they're
Is it with
just
Nicole Kidman?
no,
Okay.
they're a little bit robotic. I found that really interesting because that does actually seem like it did seem like a really good generation until you start to see details like they would weigh babies and the ones that were too light would get killed and things like that. Where empathy, again, compassion is what was missing then, because when you remove emotion you also remove compassion and a lot of love, and so it's like, how do we solve the massive problem of making us not act like animals but also not be machines?
Well,
On
only,
that note.
well, on that note, I just recently found out that brother of one of my friends became a famous TikToker. Yeah, and she posted that, okay, now he came to visit me and said that I can buy whatever I want myself. And I was like, yeah, exactly. Why the fuck you need education or something? I mean, I don't think it's easier to become famous on TikTok. As always, I don't want to be this old conservative person who's just jealous of some young guy's fame. And
Yeah, but what do you do when you have all the money in the world? This is something I really like to ask people all
you
the time.
coming to your relatives and saying that you can buy whatever the hell you want.
Yeah, and then at some point they've bought all the things. Let's say you have 100 million euro.
Well, then you just love them. I don't know, spend time together, travel together, having a beautiful, visiting a beautiful places, eating tasty food,
Hmm. For
going
the
through
rest of your
cool.
life.
Yeah, well, not building a beautiful house where you live not far away from each other, so you can take care of each other.
Hmm. And do you
Basically.
think people can be happy with no work? It's also a good
But
one.
who said that they're not gonna get work? You just don't have to stress about rent and paying the bills,
Hmm.
Johar, and that's one of the things which takes a lot of your mental capacities.
Tell
Believe
me
me.
about it.
Tell me.
I'm technically homeless right now. Yeah.
So you also need some relative who is on crypto or TikTok famous, right?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say no.
Check out your Mexican relatives. Maybe
as
somebody is out
as
there.
long as it's ethical. I don't want dirty money.
Oh, come on.
I was
Oh,
at this
wow.
amazing shopping center recently, and I felt so uncomfortable. It's the first time that this happens to me so big time, because I
Why?
started to feel like super claustrophobic, and I had this clash of values, because I was in this huge man-made structure where people go to buy stuff that they don't need, that is produced in silly ways. And yeah, I don't know, I used to love going to shopping centers when I was younger, but I guess I'm too woke now. And I was just in there like, I hate everything about this. I just want to go to the forest now.
You know, I was thinking about that. If you really know what you like, you cannot be something else than minimalist. Because I think
Exactly.
that person who is buying a lot, he doesn't know himself.
Hmm.
When you really know this little puzzle which matching inside your soul, like some color or some materials, even let's talk about clothes, like what you like, how you feel confident yourself. It's still some certain things. Is not
Hmm.
million of things. Is not every week new thing.
Exactly.
Is some exactly things which you want. So I was thinking that minimalists are just people who found out it, who found their own way. They don't need the trends. They don't need
Yeah.
the companies to tell them what they want. They don't need anyone to share what they think about it, like body or something.
Yeah. The last time I bought clothes was a year ago, and those were secondhand. And the last time I bought new clothes was, I think, more than 2 years ago. I'm
Yeah,
like,
well,
why do you need to go shopping?
uh, to see yourself. It's so like our culture is so visual. We are so concentrated on about things looking beautiful, and we defined ourselves from the way we look as well.
Yeah.
So you cannot, it's always this play. Once is like how the society validates you, another one is like how you believe in your own self.
Hmm.
So you cannot pretend that you don't give a shit about the society. Let's be honest, Johar. If you wouldn't be able to speak all of the European languages and you would be some part of some minority community, the society would really shit on you so much. It will
I
be
know.
really hard to be.
Yeah.
So
But what do you mean by not giving a shit about society?
I mean that what I see like your like well-being is connected to 50% of your own self to understand what you like. Like
Mm.
as I said about the job you have, the clothes you wear, the music you listen, the way you live, how you eat, and so on. That's something you will figure out yourself. But 50% is still something you play along with the society. Like you speak the language, which everyone
Mm.
understands. You have an education, you following some social rules, you trying to be clean outside just because you know that people like you're not provoking that. Like it's still this limitation which yeah cannot like potentially you can, and that's gonna have some consequences. But I don't believe that some adequate person gonna cross all these hundreds of rules to be on 100% just themselves. It's
Yeah.
always this
Mm. Yeah. Yeah. True. That's
balanced
also a
way.
really big topic in our generation, or in this time, is authenticity. Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's
People just being like, be yourself 100%. But then I also think what you're saying, it's like, no, yeah, not gonna like suddenly run around naked and I don't know, start punching people or kissing random people on the street.
yeah, it's the same about people thinking that they're good. If you think you're good, you don't know shit about yourself. You have to know that you're shit, and then you can think that you're good sometimes. But people who are thinking that I'm 100% by myself, they don't know any shit about themselves. Like you just have to understand where you're
I think
playing
that's a
along.
generalization. Yeah.
Yeah, but you know what I mean. Some people definitely believe in that. They're like, me, it's just me being so special. But then
Yeah.
it's like it's illusion. To some extent you're still playing, or you're trying to be like sexy woman because being young cute girl is having some
Yeah,
privileges.
this is where awareness is so important, because so many of these things we just do automatically, subconsciously. You don't know where they came from.
Yeah,
I asked
that's
I asked so many people why they like stuff, and almost no one can answer that. That's really, yeah, that's really fun for me.
But did you tell them it's because of the cartoons they watched as a kid with the beautiful princess with the big
Yeah,
eyes?
I try to keep poking until we find out, or until they're like, I don't know, I just like it. And I'm like, okay, you just like it.
No, but that's the capitalism will tell them what they like. Tell them
Yeah,
what. Yeah, to tell the truth to people.
Hmm.
Well, then, so you are in
We're
the
over time now. Yeah.
coming to the end. Just curious about how is from 0 to 10, how you would evaluate your own well-being for the moment, for today, up today.
Hmm. Holistically, everything?
Yeah.
Probably 9.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's pretty high for technically homeless person.
What, sorry?
It's pretty high for technically homeless person,
True.
but it's impressive for your thankfulness practices, maybe every day. Grateful
Yeah.
journey.
I
Seems
mean,
like it
I'm
helps.
privileged AF. How could I ever be under 6 or
Yeah,
something?
that's something really to. Do you write that in your grateful journal?
I don't have one.
You don't.
No. I have a gratitude database in my Notion, but I haven't used that for like a year and a half.
Gratitude database.
Yeah, it's the new journal, man. Everything's databases now.
And it's somewhere online. Looks like notes on your phone, and you're writing down things you're thankful for.
Well, I
What
have
is
this because in Notion you can build stuff however you want and have templates and connections and stuff. I had my digital journal, and then every time I would write in there, I would instantly also like copy things into other sections that are connected. And so I thought, instead of having to go through every journal entry every time I want to remember stuff, I'm going to pick out certain categories and put them into a collection, basically. So I would
Okay.
write like, what was the best moment of today? And I would go into the highlights collection. And then like once a week or once a month, I would go through the highlights and be with which one was the best one for this week or month. And then by the time it's New Year's, you can just look back and be like, those were my best moments of the year, and things like that.
Oh, nice. That's cute.
Yeah. Or when I was really depressed, then I could look at my gratitude collection and be like, what am I grateful for? Oh yeah, I have functioning legs, and I have food every day, and things like that.
Okay.
But I stopped doing that because at some point I realized I don't need it anymore. Yeah. Do you have a gratitude journal?
I have a checkbox of gratitude within some medical journal. I'm trying to care where I write down what I eat, did I meditate, or what was the high points of the day. But not a gratitude journal. Maybe I should have one because it sounds like a good thing to remind yourself.
Yeah. I'll definitely keep going back to doing that when I need it. Oh, so good to talk to you, even in this low energy state. You're awesome.
Oh, that's so cute. It took you 1 year to understand. I'm still gonna
Why?
remind you that, Johar.
Why do you think it was? It was not a choice. We were just both busy for a year.
But I'm a woman, you know. We are irrational. You don't have to explain why. I'm just
Oh
going to explain.
wow!
Okay,
You,
now feminists will kill me for this
yeah,
shit.
I was gonna say, way to shit on your whole
Girls, I'm
gender.
using just manipulating. Okay, it's not like I'm really upset. I'm far away from not being feminist. Unfortunately, I'm a professional main hater, so I'm a good feminist in some way. But
Which
yeah.
didn't
Let's
process that.
let's carry that on next week. Maybe it's gonna be just evening talks on Sunday evening talks, and somebody can take a coffee or tea and Sunday evening and just listen to our bullshit.
Exactly.
And I don't want this, I don't want this energetic talk when you feel pressured by following what people are saying. I want to relax, chilled,
Yeah,
just
I was gonna say. I mean, we can also have. I mean, this ended up being pretty dark at points. We can have any topic. You don't have to like be super hyped and positive to do this. We can just do this no matter what.
so next Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
Technically homeless friend of mine. Okay,
Almost
Johar.
Swedish friend of mine.
Almost Swedish, yeah. Yeah, covered under the Swedish snow person.
Let's see what happens with all of us in September. I feel like everyone I know is going through so much change, and me too. Like, what a time.
Yeah, thank you for today. See you
Thank you
in 1
too.
week.
Yeah.
Okay,
We're
you are
gonna end the
turning off.
stream.
Yeah, you are
Yeah.
turning off all of this.
Wait, I'll just end the stream and then we can say goodbye as well.
Okay.
Okay. Bye, audience.